Let's discuss this with Ron Brownstein, CNN senior political analyst and senior editor at The Atlantic. Good to see you, Ron.
Hi, Linda. Hi, Linda.
So the report has been buried. The question is, for how long?
Yeah, look, I think one way or another, Senate Republicans and Democrats are going to have access to the information in here. I mean, we already have the report tonight in the New York Times that discusses a document prepared by federal investigators that was obtained by the House Ethics Committee showing payments from Matt Gaetz to the two women who have testified, apparently testified that he paid them for sex. So gradually, one way or another, this information is going to come out. I mean, obviously, witnesses, as some senators have testified, have suggested could testify in the Senate to the same effect that they testified to the House Ethics Committee. Hard to imagine that Senate Republicans have reached a point where they would be willing to confirm Matt Gaetz, knowing that all of this is out there without seeing the specifics that are in this investigation, in this report.
Right. And those documents you mentioned, $10,000 in payments to two women who are witnesses in this investigation. And their attorney was on CNN and said one of those women witnessed Gaetz having sex with a minor. Gaetz has, of course, denied all these allegations. If he has nothing to hide, why doesn't he push for the report to be made public?
Well, it's an excellent question, right? I mean, and the answer is obviously he has behavior he does want to hide. And, look, I mean, as we've talked about before, 2 weeks ago, Republican senators probably never imagined under any circumstance they would be asked to confirm Matt Gaetz as Attorney General, or for that matter, Tulsi Gabbard as the chief intelligence officer of the country, and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. as the chief, the head of the HHS, and in effect, the person who will be running the health agencies of the federal government. And this is a test on all of these fronts. I mean, how far are they willing to go? Obviously, a new president gets deference, especially from his own party. I believe it's basically been a century since a Senate controlled by the president's own party formally voted down one of his cabinet nominees. But Trump, I think, is deliberately pushing the boundaries here to test how far he can push the Republican Senate, not only on these appointments, not only on other appointments, but also on the policy issues where he intends to move very aggressively as well.
And it's interesting to note Gaetz in the past had said that he wanted the job as AG, as Attorney General, but even he conceded that he might find it difficult to get confirmed. Today, he was seen talking with Republican lawmakers, and I just want to roll some sound of what he had to say.
I'll be honest with you, I've been focused on what we got to do to reform the Department of Justice. I've been meeting with senators. I haven't been paying much attention to that.
So he and Trump reportedly meeting with senators, trying to shore up support because the incoming Senate Republican majority will be slim, which means Trump will need almost every Republican senator to push ahead with these nominations. And notably, Elon Musk was on his social media platform X today saying that Gaetz has an axe to grind, which he claims is necessary for the job. I mean, Ron, is that really a prerequisite for a person set to run the Justice Department?
Right. I mean, that is, I mean, look, in a strange way, that's kind of, taking the subtext and making it loud. Why was Matt Gaetz chosen? Why was Tulsi Gabbard chosen? Why was Robert F. Kennedy Jr. chosen? Even Pete Hegseth at the Defense Department. These are all agencies that Trump wants, whose independence and traditions Trump wants to break, either because he views them as places that have been unfair to him in the past, or because he views them as critical to his designs going forward and his language during the campaign about taking on the, quote, enemies from within. I mean, they are all designed to break the culture of those institutions, to break the independence they have traditionally had from simply executing a president's will, under any circumstances. And so, again, like for Senate, I think in all of these cases, Senate Republicans are being asked to do something they could not have imagined ever being asked to do. The vast majority of them will do it. The question will be, assuming David McCormick wins the recount in Pennsylvania, and it's a 53-seat majority, are there 4 who will not? I did note that today there was one of those more moderate, relatively more centrist Republican senators, Tom Tillis of North Carolina, who said he would consider it inappropriate to try to have recess appointments at the cabinet level. maybe sub-cabinet level, he said. But for cabinet, he thought they should have to go through the normal advise and consent confirmation process. We'll see how hardball Trump wants to get, because as you know, there's a constitutional argument where if the House goes along with him trying to recess the Congress and the Senate doesn't, he, by some readings of the Constitution, has the authority to do so himself, which would allow him to push through some of these, clearly controversial and by most conventional metrics, unqualified appointees.
Yeah, exactly. Quite controversial. We will chat again soon, no doubt. Ron Brownstein, thanks so much as always.
Thanks for having me.